Welcome. I am so glad you're here to the roadmap to transform. So the question perhaps on everybody's mind is, well, transform what? And I know you realize your life. What I'd like you to reflect on is take a few moments while we're getting ready to jump into the material, what that means to you. So for those of you who I have not had the pleasure to meet, so many of you, I'm thrilled with the response, by the way, with my own small little email list and a few announcements. Uh, well over 120 people have registered for the event. Thank you kindly. I know quite a few are overseas from about 6 different countries, last count I heard, from all over the US, all sorts of different time zones. So cool. So I want to shout out to you. I so appreciate your commitment, your interest. And of course, a replay will be sent out. For those of you here with me now live, fantastic. Thank you again kindly, because we want to create a group energy, if you will, a group intention. And it really, although it's not the same as live, when we're close with each other and I can see your face, it really does help. There's something about that when we're in concert together, when we're in harmony together, when we've got like minds brought together. So I really appreciate you. And there are some people on the call who I haven't had the pleasure to see who did training with me way back in the early 70s, some who are brand new. If you haven't guessed, my name is Ken Coscia. I am your host tonight. I'm the International Training Director for the Silva Method and their lead instructor. I'm the guy who Jose Silva selected in 1984 to join his elite staff to do advanced trainings, and I love it, and I so appreciate him for it. So I also want to just comment about your skill level. There are many of you I don't know, I have not met, so I don't know your skill level, how much you know. There are quite a few people who have not attended a live Silva training, or for all I know, have not read a book or done the home study, and that's okay. It's not necessary. There'll be plenty of takeaways. However, I just want to prepare you that tonight is 1 hour of looking at exploring the foundation, the very foundation, the 4 pillars that make up the foundation of the Silva Method Core program that started way back in 1966. It is a 4-day training, all day from 9 in the morning till 7, and it always has been a 4-day program, although we've experimented and 4 days is the way to go, especially the immersion 4 days in a row. So when we're there, obviously we go very deep. Tonight, though, I've structured it so that I'm going to, for those of you who have, and most of you, Silva training, I'll remind you of some techniques you can use as we go into some of the tools and some of the skills that are necessary. And for those of you that are new, I'll do it in such a way that you can right here tonight. In fact, I'm being very adventurous tonight and courageous. There'll be 4 exercises. So what I'll be doing is to give you a quick overview is we're going to look at the 4 skills that are necessary for high performance, for being a highly effective human being, to navigate life with grace and ease, which is really what I've been doing for going into my 49th year now, helping people develop the tools, I do it through the Silva Method, to navigate life with grace and ease, and to get into that flow state where it seems like the universe has got your back. So there are 4, but I've identified that there are 4 skills that I believe to be necessary. Sure, there may be more that you could use, absolutely. And yes, there are more resources. These are fundamental skills, though, and I trust as we go through them, you'll recognize that it's not just the pillars that the Silva Method is built on, but the very skills that are necessary to just get through life and to navigate it with that. So we're looking to transform our lives. That's, to me, it has always been the nature of the work that I do. I'm not a marketer. I'm a teacher at heart, a transformational teacher. And those of you who've been, and most of you who've been through the Silva program, wouldn't you agree? Once you go through and experience it, not intellectually reading a book, which is great, but actually go through and do all the exercises, we make a shift and we're never the same. And it's for the better. We begin to look at life differently. We've elevated our consciousness. We've furthered the cause of evolution. Jose Silva taught me that he believed, and I agree, that part of our task as human beings is to evolve to make manifest in the world our true nature, our authentic self, our higher self, our best self, to manifest the divine. A lot of ways you could look at it depending on your background. I'll do my best to be neutral. And once we make that shift, we then build on it as we use it and apply it. And let's be straight. Even if you've quote unquote fallen off the wagon and slipped a little bit, you never look at life the same. And I hear this all the time from people 30, 40, 50 years ago, let alone, months ago. So I'm here tonight to support you, to build on that. And I wanted to do this in particular to point you. And that's what a map is. When you have a roadmap, it doesn't get you there, but it tells you where to go, what to expect, how you can best navigate, especially if you're using something like Waze, any of the new cool apps we have, so that we can navigate and avoid danger or avoid a roadblock or avoid an accident or obstacles like that, so we can get to where we want to go. And that's what I want tonight to be for you as we explore. And as I said, as we go through the 4 different pillars, in each one we'll do a little exercise that you can copy on your own. I'll do them briefly because of the nature of tonight being a video, but it's easy enough for you to build on it and extend it as much as you like. So right now, let's do a quick exercise. And we use what's called dynamic meditation in the Silva method. It's an active form of mindfulness, to be fully present, fully focused. And the long story short is Mr. Silva, in his 22 years of research in hypnosis and meditation, as he married the two together, and back then this was new. Everybody thought, yeah, right. And now it's kind of become mainstream. But what he found was that when you get into that beautiful, blissful state of meditation, a relaxation exercise, where you relax your body, relax your mind, and it's good for your health, it's good for your well-being, it's the best investment you could make in your life. It'll save you a ton of money. It's cheaper than the copay. You'll think more clearly. You'll get through life more easily. You'll make less mistakes. And all the science teaches us that. Every day there's more research. He found, though, that once you attain that state, that quiet, usually passive state, where the mind never stops, but we focus it, we direct it. We can direct the thoughts and incorporate creative visualization, creative imagination, exercises, affirmations, elevate our emotions with affirmations and visualization, and that accelerates the learning experience. If you know my story, I was a student at Boston University when I first started. I knew nothing about this. And I went from literally failing out of Boston University, to using the Silva method of accelerated learning, 3 fingers and other techniques like that. And I wound up graduating cum laude. I became the youngest instructor in the world. I was 19, ripe years teaching in the Boston area. So this exercise is, obviously, if somehow you're driving, which I trust you're not, or you're watching the replay and you've created just the audio version, which you can do, you're not going to do this while driving. Because the easiest way to do this is to close your eyes. And then with your eyes closed, Silva practitioners use your 3-2-1 method. I'm going to guide you through 3 slow, deep breaths. And some people have called this a transition meditation. We call it in Silva an alpha break. So meaning you've had a long day at work, you've had a long day doing the things you do, and here you are now gracing me with your presence, honoring me, and I do mean that you're honoring me with your presence, and I appreciate your vote of confidence. So you want to make a transition where you kind of leave this stuff behind, leave the stresses of the day behind, leave any tensions behind, so that you can fully focus and get out of this what will best serve you, so that you have full concentration, superior concentration, superior understanding, and that later you'll quickly and easily recall it. I'll also make some suggestions that you'll hear what you need to enhance the quality of your life. So you ready? Please fasten your seatbelts. And the best way to do this, you can attempt with your eyes open if you want to stare, but it'd be a lot easier to close your eyes, because the eyes are the most active of our physical senses. Like 86% of the energy coming into the brain is through sight. Automatically, as you close your eyes, your brain waves slow down in the direction of alpha. And our program is the original alpha theta training. So we want to teach you how to reach alpha, a very natural state. You do it all the time when you go to sleep, when you daydream. We want to learn how to sustain it with conscious awareness. That's where the action's at. So allow those beautiful eyes to close. Nice and easy. Take your time. Be comfortable. Loosen anything you'd like to loosen. Be as comfortable as you can in this situation. I hope you've turned off your email. Please, no attempting to multitask. You've closed the door, like I've closed the door to my home office here. You've asked people not to disturb you. If you haven't, make sure you do. Okay, now your eyelids are closed. We'll begin this exercise with 3 slow, deep breaths. Silva practitioners, you can do 3-to-1 method. Allow a very slow, deep breath. That's it. Inhaling through your nose. Filling your belly. Nice and easy. Hold it briefly for a couple of seconds. And then now exhale out your mouth. Releasing any of the tensions that may have built up from the day. Keep exhaling. Just let it go. Allow another slow, deep breath. That's it. Take your time. Hold it briefly. Exhale out your mouth. Keep exhaling. That's it. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper as you release any of the tensions of the day. Allow another slow, deep breath. That's it. Hold it briefly. And as you exhale, just desire to relax and be fully present. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. It is a wonderful, healthy state of mind and body. Tonight, you're attending the live cast, RoadMap to Transform Your Life. So think about it for a moment. Perhaps you'd like to transform a relationship with your children, with your loved ones, with a spouse, with a coworker, with your boss. Perhaps you'd like to transform the way you feel about work. Think about it and select something that's very important to you. Perhaps you'd like to transform your health, make a shift for more health and well-being. Perhaps you'd like to, when I say transform, integrate it so it becomes you. Transform your way of being. Create this new state of being where you experience more joy, more harmony in your life. I'll give you a moment to reflect on why are you here and what the first aspiration, goal that comes into mind that you'd like to transform. And imagine, what would your life be like as you truly transform this aspect of your life? What will you see? What will you hear? What will you experience and feel? How do you feel? I'll give you a few seconds to just reflect on that, involving all of your senses as much as possible. Tonight, you will enjoy superior concentration and superior understanding. You will hear and experience what you need to improve, to enhance, to transform the quality of your life in any way that's important to you. Anytime in the future, you'll have quick and easy recall. If you're a Silva trained practitioner, you may use your 3 fingers technique anytime during the presentation tonight to sustain superior concentration and understanding. And anytime in the future when you need a desire, you'll have quick and easy recall. And this is so. Okay, now I'm going to count to 5, and at the count to 5, I just want to give you a suggestion that when you open your eyes, you're going to be awake, you're going to be alert, you're going to be fully focused, ready to continue. I will now count 1, 2, 3, coming out slowly now. At the count of 5, you may open your eyelids, be awake, be alert, feeling much better than before, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, with a clear intention to be fully and present. 4, 5, eyelids open, wide awake and alert, feeling fantastic. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning, you genius, you. Oh, it was a very short exercise. Obviously, when we're in a silver class, we have 4 days, plenty of time to build that. The exercise is about, on the average, 50% of our time is doing processes like this, anywhere from 15 to 35 minutes, and all sorts of fun things practicing. Tonight, I want to give you a taste. Tonight, those of you who are new to Silva, there's no obligation, but I sincerely hope that one day you'll join me or join a Silva class somewhere. It's like the best thing you could do for yourself. And that, of course, is up to you. Later, I'll tell you, what's involved and make it as simple as possible, even make a few tantalizing offers for you. So we're here to transform ourselves. And one of the reasons why I'm here is what really fuels me, where my passion's at, what keeps me going, what helps me to tolerate all the challenges that we all face in life. It's been a long career for me. It's like all I've done is the only way the world will change is if we transform each of us as individuals. And then as more and more of us as individuals transform our lives, raise our consciousness, evolve, become more fully present, become more responsible citizens of the planet. Then it becomes the community, the state, the nation, the country, and it becomes the collective. And when that happens, that's when the magic happens. And we see that now growing. When I first started, there was very little interest. You never even mentioned the word meditation unless you were into TM or studying with some sort of master. But now it's become more commonplace. So we see the trends. There's a lot more openness than ever before, and that's exciting. So let's take a look at what is it that you could use? What is it that you, in my opinion, need, or certainly at a bare minimum would find so very useful to help you to transform your life, to navigate with grace and ease, to take command of your life from the inside. Because if you're going to transform your life, it's an inside game. Excuse me, it's not going to happen reading books. Books inspire us. Books give us knowledge. Knowledge is great, and knowledge is power intellectually. But unless we know how to apply that knowledge, it's all in vain. Come on, you know that you've been there. How many seminars have you gone to? How many books have you read? And you're thrilled and you're amazed. And then Monday, nothing changes unless you're actually applying it. And truth be told, all you silver practitioners, if you spend as little as 5 to 15 minutes of time once or twice a day, and they're fun things, cool things, that's how you build on it. And that's how you truly get better and better. So number one, so there are 4 skills. Let me just say all 4 first, fast, and then I'll build out on them. Number one, got to manage your energy. Number 2, necessary skill is you've got to have confidence. Confidence. Well, actually, that's number 3. Number 2 is you've got to have clarity. Doesn't matter what order they're in, but clarity of purpose, clarity of your goals, knowing what you want. 3 would be confidence, overcoming limiting thinking. Some call it limiting beliefs. And 4th, certainly you've got to have these skills, and the skill, and it is a skill of accessing naturally, on command, your intuition, your creativity, so that you can innovate, make better decisions, be more in that flow. That's what being in a flow state is, where the universe has sort of got your back when you've activated your intuition and you're living it, and you're not, planning. It just you just kind of have better luck. So let's go back to number 1. Ken, you might ask, what do you mean manage your energy? Well, we can look at this emotionally, physically, spiritually. All 3 are just as important. Managing our energy or leveraging our energy so that we stay calm on one level. So number 1, physically, and mentally, we stay calm, relaxed, and focused, even under pressure, in spite of it all. We also need to manage our energy so that emotionally we're not depressed, upset, losing hope, feeling discouraged. Because if you're feeling discouraged or having difficulty making a decision, that's going to be a big energy suck. And you're going to be like that, Can you relate? Another way spiritually is that many people who are on a spiritual path like myself and practice certain practices are doing all the right things because they're supposed to. People who meditate or practice silver do the right things because they're supposed to, but some report that they feel stuck, stagnant. They're not really going anywhere. So how can we get unstuck, manage, and it takes number one, there's four, but number one, manage our energy in such a way that we get unstuck and that we can drive it home and raise the bar, so to speak, elevate it. So how do you know if you're not managing your energy properly? This, by the way, my friends, is the number one, and this is, I've been working really hard for you, researching, studying, not only doing Silva all these years and decades, but I continue to study. I continue to look at the research. I continue to attend seminars. I continue to ask questions so that I can do better for you and be better facilitator. So the science of it is number one reason why people are not getting what they want. The number one reason why people are getting stuck and are not changing, even though we know, oh yes, we've got to change. I want to change, but it's like I keep slipping back into that old pattern. Can you relate? Or I make a change, but it doesn't last, and I slip back a day, a week, or a month later. Can you relate? So what's the number one reason? Living in survival and scarcity consciousness. What does that mean? How could you tell if you're living in survival? Well, it also means your stress hormones are off the charts. You've got way too much cortisol and epinephrine and all the other stress hormones in your body, and we get overwhelmed. And I know you've heard that term before, but how can you tell that's the case? Well, if you find yourself getting aggravated easily, getting impatient easily, that's an example. If you find yourself losing your cool easily and reacting, knee-jerk reaction rather than thinking first and responding, these are all signs, symptoms of you're either overwhelmed or getting pretty close to it, and you're living in survival or pretty darn close. Or I mentioned you're reacting rather than responding are the most common things to look at. I was looking for one other, went blank for a moment with that. But you get the idea. Those are signs of how we can tell we're living in survival. If you're feeling you've got no energy and you're tired, you fatigue easily, and no matter how much you sleep, you're waking up and you need more rest. Or if you're having trouble sleeping or staying asleep, these are all signs that you are not managing your energy on a day-to-day basis. You're not managing it efficiently nor effectively, and life is getting the best of you. You're letting people push your buttons. You're letting people get your goat. You're letting people annoy you. Nobody pushes anybody's buttons unless we let them. Hey, I know, I understand. This isn't easy. I'm going to be the first to tell you, it can be outright very, very challenging. Sometimes it's a struggle. Honor your struggle. I honor you. But when you have the skills and when you practice and you have the right training, it's less and less a struggle and more an opportunity to grow, and we make steady progress. So it's your daily application. It's important that each and every day we are, like we just did before, releasing those stresses. So you could do what we call in Silva an alpha break. Before you go to your one meeting, before you go to the next meeting, before you're on a business phone call, conference call or otherwise, and then you're going to make another call. As you go from one task, one situation to a new one, whenever possible, before that, I want you to close your eyelids, 3 slow, deep breaths, think, relax, and then focus on your attention. You're leaving what you just did behind, and you're focusing on your intention of the next activity you're about to move into. It's simple brilliance. And you just do this. I'd love to hear from you. I want to hear your comments. Send me feedback on the YouTube channel, on Facebook, or email, however you want to do it. But you'll notice you'll move through the day more easily. And then especially when you're going home with to your family, your friends, your loved ones, you don't want to be bringing work home with you. You don't want to be, be so preoccupied that you're not paying attention to them. And you're like this. Sit in the car, sit on the train, wherever you can privately. It only takes a few minutes. You don't have to do it for an hour. You don't have to do it for 10 minutes. It takes you anywhere from probably 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Because you're going to do very slow, deep breathing, and that takes at least 30 seconds, each one. And then you're clearing yourself, releasing the tensions, and focusing on your attention. Kind of like what we just did now. What I learned to do is apply that for accelerated learning. When you're out of survival living and you're in abundant living, you're free of that, you're navigating more gracefully and with greater ease, you'll learn faster, you'll learn easier because you'll be more present. That's the big change I made for me going back to school. And I use it now all the time. I'm constantly learning new technologies and things that I do myself that I never did before. I never did videos, stuff like Livecast and Google Hangouts. I'm self-taught. Yeah, there's a learning curve, but I've been able to shorten it by using this, what we teach in the Silva class, this 3 fingers technique, and I want you to do the same thing. How about both emotionally and or spiritually? Because I think these two are connected. You manage your energy. If we go into complaint mode, do you know what I mean? Do you know anybody in your life? Maybe it's a coworker. It's always complaining. What's wrong? And they're always pointing the finger and blaming. Oh, if they only did this for us and they don't support, I don't feel supported. That's the blame game. Well, life isn't fair, and it never was. And it would be nice. What are you going to do if it's not? As long as we continue to blame, we're ruminating on what's wrong. And as long as we ruminate on what's wrong, we're mentally rehearsing what's wrong, giving it energy. And the basic fundamental principle here is the law of attention. Whatever we give attention to, we give energy to. And whatever we give energy to will grow and multiply. So I hope you're taking good notes. So go back and watch this and watch it again. You want to identify the problem? Yes. You want to acknowledge the problem? Yes. You want to own it? Yes. A screw up, a mess up, a difficulty. Once you do that, now it's time to plan. Now it's time to see what resources you need, what training you may need, who you may need to talk to, and stop planning and strategizing and implementing and stay focused on what? The outcome, what you want, the positive outcome. So this complaining and blaming is really a big energy suck. It's going to emotionally rob you of your energy, and you're going to start dreading life, dreading work, dreading what you do. And that's a major hindrance to high performance. It's a major hindrance to being an effective human being in any of your life. Being with your children. God, I often pause when I hear a woman say, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or maybe a stay-at-home dad. That's it? Are you kidding me? That's the most important job on the planet. And it's the most responsible job. And it takes the most out of you. You got to be in your A game with your children. You got to be in your A game in life, period. And the way things are changing. I hope that makes sense. The other thing is well-being physically. To go back to this idea, when you're practicing your daily alpha breaks, your daily dynamic meditation, or any form of meditation you practice or relaxation tool, that will boost your immune system. That will help your body get into a state of homeostasis or balance, which will help your body do what it's meant to do, to heal. It's the most natural way to self-heal and to accelerate and build the energy within. Think for a moment as we wrap up this first point, because I go on with this. It's so important. It's maybe most important. If you're stressed, worried, preoccupied, are you not more likely to what? Make mistakes. Agreed? Just nod with me. If you're stressed, preoccupied, overwhelmed, you're more likely to forget things, to simple things that you usually remember. And that costs you time and energy. Correct? If you're stressed, preoccupied, and you're not fully present there with your client, with your patient, with your whoever, you're not going to give them your A game. You're not going to be at your best. And then you run the risk of losing them as a client, or you run the risk of more or worse, not doing the job for them. So can you see why it's so important to take the time every day, a couple of minutes a day, in between tasks, to do these little alpha breaks, transition meditations. Depends what you want to call them. Can you see how important it is to first thing in the morning, set up the day, 10, 12 minutes, 15 tops, and at night before you go to bed? Very, very important. So it's about unlearning and relearning. Unlearning and relearning. So now, the message is society, especially Western society, is so preoccupied and so dominantly concerned with an over-reliance on outside of us for our happiness, how much money you have, what car you drive, what job you have, your title, And come on, let's face it. I mean, those are cool, sure, and important in our life, but that's not really what makes us happy. Being happy is really more of an inside game, being at peace with ourselves. So please allow a deep breath. Allow a deep breath. Relax. I recommend another thing, a little bonus tip for you. If you've got a lot of studying, a lot of reading, every hour, if you can take a short pause, even just to stop, deep breath, release the tensions, and then go back. Have a glass of water or a quick little stretch. Number two skill I said, after I corrected myself, is clarity. To have clarity of purpose. In other words, to know what you want. To be clear about your aspirations. And then to stay focused on them. To not talk yourself out of it. To not let the people around us. It's important to surround yourself by people who will build you up, who will inspire you. To surround yourself. I hope tonight serves this purpose for you. To encourage you, inspire you that I'm not one to exaggerate like I hear too much on the internet and too much. I think it's the great personal development lie. You can have it all. Yeah, right. If that were true, we'd all have it all. And there are people who do everything right. You can have a lot more than you realize, and you can really create a much better life, perhaps an extraordinary life. I'm kind of leery of exaggerating. It takes, but you've got to first know what it is you want and be clear and be surrounded by people who will encourage you, who will inspire you, who will maybe support you, who will help, or who will point you in the right direction to know where to go to get what you want. Why I say clarity of what you want, because are your goals really your goals? What you think you want, what you think, is it really congruent, consistent with your values? So for example, quick little test. Remember, this is the abbreviated version to give you a good taste, but it certainly worked. If you experienced a loss, somebody, whether they passed away, moved away, went so far away, they're not available to you, you feel a loss. You feel, oh, you really miss them. I feel that way about my children in California and 3 grandchildren. So I go as often as I can. How about opportunities you have in your life? Maybe the freedom you have to move, to go for a walk, to ride your bike. If that was no longer available to you, you'd feel a loss. I went through this. Back in 2014, I sustained a serious injury that related to, I used to be an athlete, a crazy runner, long distance runner, and a number of things, complications, and I sustained an injury. And it was over 4 years, since 2018, that I was on a bike, and I love riding my bike. And even now I'm getting back slowly, and it takes a while to kind of get your legs back and your body with that. Although that's not going to make or break my life, it's something I enjoy, especially where I live in this community, going by the river and some beautiful countryside to ride my bike. I know that's simple, but when it comes to people, it could be a pet, it could be someone dear and near to you. I ask you that because, are your actions consistent? Are you spending the time? Are you doing the things that are consistent with who or what you say is so important to you? That if they weren't there, that's how you can test to make sure. Because if your values are not in alignment, or excuse me, if your goals, your aspirations are not in alignment with your values, you're going to have trouble. Some of you maybe work for someone or a company. I feel for you. I'm so thrilled I work for myself. I'm self-employed. Even though I'm part of the civil organization, I'm my own boss. We're all independent contractors is the term they use, and I'm licensed to deliver the civil material. However, oftentimes when people go through the class with me, I hear this, or they become my coach clients whom I have the pleasure to mentor. They're working in an organization that's become toxic, or an organization that's maybe cheating their clients, cheating their customers, or is not delivering what they promised they would deliver, or playing shady games. And some of these people, felt like it was so out of alignment with who they are. They're people of honor, they're people of their word. And they felt like it was just horrible. They were dreading going to work. Well, what it amounted to was getting the heck out of there and finding something, a company that would be more in alignment with your own values, that you wouldn't feel like you're selling your soul, or you wouldn't feel like you were, because if you're studying something or doing things and you feel, you just don't have the energy and you feel like conflicted, you're not sure why, that's usually an indicator that you're not in alignment. Your goals or what it is you want are not in alignment with your values. So it's important then to sit back, close your eyelids, few deep breaths, and reflect on it. And ask yourself this question, what do I want? We'll do something like that in a moment. So it's important that you keep this alignment. So let's do another little short exercise. And again, these are exercises you can duplicate on your own. Please do. And when you're on your own, you can do it for as long as you like. I'm going to keep them brief for our purposes tonight. So what I'll call it is, what do you want? And then I'll ask you some questions like, what do you love or like about your work or about your family? Just different things to get into a state of being of appreciation, but also to recognize some patterns. And then what you can begin to practice is, again, depending on your spiritual persuasion, you can ask your higher self, ask the universe, ask source energy, ask God, ask, I don't know, mom. I mean, I do know for me, but I don't want to bias you. Is what it is I want in alignment with my values? And learn to trust your inner voice. Learn to trust that inner dialogue. Learn to trust your heart. And especially as you develop the fourth skill, your intuition, and you become more and more proficient, it gets easier. It does take practice. So again, comfortable position. Obviously, you're not driving. Allow your eyelids to close. Be as comfortable as you can. And again, I'm going to ask you 3 slow, deep breaths. You're Silva practitioners. You can do your 3-to-1 method. If you're not Silva grad, that's okay. It's fine. Allow your eyelids to close and allow a very slow, deep breath. Take your time, nice and easy. Excellent. And as you exhale, desire to relax. Relax your body. Exhaling out your mouth. That's it. Keep releasing. Allow a second deep breath. That's it. Feel your belly. Nice and easy. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Exhaling out your mouth. Desire to relax mentally. And one more slow, deep breath. Take your time. Hold it briefly. And as you exhale, how good it feels to relax. Ask yourself, what do I want? What do you want? Ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And follow your first impressions. To help, what do you love or like, if love is too strong, about your spouse? Or perhaps if you're working on your career, what do you love or like about your career? What do you love or like about your life situation, your business, your friend? Follow your first impressions. What do you love or like about work? Follow your first impressions. There's no right or wrong. And as you reflect on your first impressions, are they consistent? Are they congruent with your aspirations, your goals, what it is you want to transform, improve, what it is you want to make a part of you? You can also ask source energy, God, higher intelligence, will this goal I have, will this interest I have help me to achieve a richer, more rewarding life? is this in alignment with my values? You can ask source energy for guidance. Will this help me to get to where I want to go? The outcome I want? And that's a yes or no. Follow your first impression. You don't want to think too much. If you're getting an impression, great. If not, come back to it later. Because if you think about it too much, you're more likely to get logical. And now in a moment, you may open your eyelids. When you open your eyelids, you'll be awake, you'll be alert, feeling much better than before. So allow me to give you the suggestion that when you open your eyelids, you're going to be awake, fully focused as we move into the third pillar. You may now open your eyelids open, wide awake. Welcome back. How you doing? I hope you're enjoying it. It really does get easier and easier. It's fun when I go through the 4-day silver immersion. When people first come in day one, it's pretty cool, and they get results. And then the next day they come back, oh boy, I had the best night's sleep I've had in a long time. Or, gee, I came in with aches and pains, and it's about 30% gone. Or, I don't know, I just feel a little bit more at ease. And the room starts to change. By day 3, day 4, it's like a whole different room, and the energy, you could feel it. You could almost cut it with a scissor, with a knife. It's wonderful. I watch people transform before my very eyes in this 4-day immersion. It's because we're practicing the meditations. We're taking command of our lives from inside. We're aligning our goals with our values. We're being consistent. And when you do, that's when, the magic happens. So number 3, it's going to take confidence. Some may suggest, you mean, Ken, overcoming limiting beliefs? Yes, but that's been kind of overplayed a bit. And I think what it really amounts to is having the confidence that somehow, some way you can figure things out. And what that means is not that you're going to just figure it out. You may need more training. You may need to read a book. You may need to ask for help. You may need to hire a coach. You may need to talk to a dear friend. You may need to do more studying, whatever it is. But that somehow, some way, whether it takes 100 years or 10 minutes, you'll figure this out. So there's something that I'm going to call the 3 C's. The surest way to build confidence is competence, meaning skills. If you suffer from performance anxiety, if you suffer from stage fright, if you're about to give a big sales presentation, you're a little, jittery, the surest way to get out of that is plan way in advance. The more you prepare, the more you study, the more confident you'll be. That's competence, because you've got the skills. So you can, before you go into the new endeavor, say, I did my homework, I did my due diligence, I'm as good as I'm going to be, and then I'm just going to now rock and roll with it. So competence means skills. It's not enough to sit back on our butts and just meditate. I mean, that's great for getting an alignment. That's great for balance and harmony. But we need to have the skill set. So what resources will you need to get where you want to go? And that's what I mean. And as you develop those resources, those skills, you develop competence. And as you develop competence, you'll have more confidence. And as you have more confidence, you'll take more risk and you'll do more things. Because another reason why people don't even make an attempt, whether it be taking a silver class, whether it be reading a book or going on to work for themselves, it's because of lack of confidence. And as soon as you start getting some successes, start with small successes, small steps, that confidence based on your competence, skill set, will cause you to what? Do more, take more chances, and make a commitment. So competence, confidence, and commitment. And commitment is a mindset. It's a growth mindset that says failure is not an option, whatever it takes. And when you've got that kind of growth mindset, you're bound to get what you want or get pretty darn close, and certainly raise the bar and elevate it. So what I want you to do is take small steps, small gains. The challenge here, emotionally speaking, is on an emotional level, too often some people are addicted to their past. I've heard some learned thinkers talk about this, some philosophers and teachers. I know, and think about what they mean by that is, if you find yourself constantly, I'm not talking about nostalgia, but when you find, oh, the good old days. I see this on Facebook, people who used to be Silva Instructors 30, 40 years ago, and they haven't kept up to date with the new material. They haven't kept up to date with the new format of life and intuitions. I remember the good. That's in love, addicted to the past. Nothing, no one, and nothing stays the same. And if we are truly to evolve, we need to change. If we are truly to transform this bloody planet that needs so much help. We need reform on just about every front. It's going to take a lot of change, and nobody wants to change. Everybody fights it tooth and nail. It's like that tug of war, because we're addicted to the past, the same old, because it's familiar patterns. We are biologically wired, number one priority for survival, number two, security. And we are secure, we feel safe in familiar ground, new, familiar territory. And if we're unconscious to that, it dictates to us and it controls us, and we go nowhere and we get stuck. So when I say evolve, that means raise your consciousness and recognize that you are more than what you appear to be, and we're not just animals biologically mobilized by security and survival. When you have conscious awareness of that, it takes self-awareness. That's what mastery takes. It takes self-awareness, and it takes self-management skills to do that. So when we're ruminating on the past, we're mentally rehearsing the past, and without realizing it, we're giving, again, law of attention, all the energy. Whatever you give attention to, you give energy to. Whatever you give energy to will grow and multiply. It's a basic fundamental law that's been demonstrated in science time and again, because we also know now, neuroscience, that the brain does not distinguish between what we vividly imagine and what we actually experience physically. That's why if your willpower and imagination are in conflict, imagination will win every time. Hey, like those sound effects. Excuse me on that. So sometimes we have selective memory. And when I hear so many people, I'm told, hate their work, I don't agree. I think they have selective memory, and they're ruminating on the things they don't like about work. And they've lost touch with what they do like, what they do value about work and what they do. And it's time for us all to start asking, what do I love about my work? What do I love about my wife? What do I love about my children? What do I love about my life situation? What do I like? And let that be your dominant thinking. It's all conditioning, these beliefs and training. You know, you may remember the old story, the baby elephant tied up with a big chain to a stake, a steel stake into the ground 16 feet or more, and the mother adult with a little rope, and it's not tied, it's tied to a little peg in the ground, and the mother just, but the baby is what? Tugging and tugging and trying to break loose because it doesn't know better. It's training, conditioning. Once that happens, you could put a little shoelace around and they'll stay in place. It's conditioning. So I wonder, can you relate? How many imaginary chains have you got wrapped around you, holding you back? And if they're there, they've been conditioned. And the same way they've been conditioned, you've learned them, you can unlearn them. It's a very powerful thing. This is why, again, I'll go back to it. When I have you for 4 days, we can really go deep into this deep dive. And if you look at the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton, good little resource for you. Dr. Bruce Lipton, based on over 40, I think almost 50 years now for him, but at least 40, if not more, researching how our belief systems, how shape and mold our physiology, our genetic structure, and everything about us in our lives. So we've got to examine that. So let's do another quick exercise, because I want to lock in each of these with that. Again, be eyelids closed. I'm going to ask you to relive a past success, appreciate, and then I'm going to ask you, what if? And it's like your best self. What if your best self emerges? What if you had all that you needed, the resources? What would your life be like? And see how you feel. All right, so please allow your eyelids to close again. Nice and easy. Allow a very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Inhaling slowly. Exhaling out your mouth. Allow another deep breath. Inhaling slowly. Exhale out your mouth. One more. Inhaling slowly, and as you exhale, release it. We've been talking about the competence, confidence, commitment loop. And how by taking small steps, you can build on those successes and the selective memory. So what I'd like you to do right now is to think of something in your life that you did and you feel good about it. It could be you planted a garden and it's really flourishing. It could be that you did something kind to somebody and it really helped them. It could be that you're a coach and you really helped a client nail it. It could be you're a physician, doctor, and you helped your patient do all the right things to heal. Get the idea? What did you say? What was your physiology? What were the circumstances when you were at your best? It could be 20 years ago, it could be 10 minutes ago. And how did you feel? What was your mindset? And can you see if you've done it before, you can do it again? I want you, before you go to any new endeavor, any new challenge, especially if you feel challenged, first spend a few moments, close eyes, few slow deep breaths, and relive a past success like this. Relive something you did well that you feel good about, and amplify your emotions. Yay, feel good, celebrate it internally. And what if your best self were to emerge in all you do? What would your life be like? It's called the what if game. What if your best self, your A game, is with you at work, with your spouse, with your children, with your clients? What would the outcome be? Keep this in mind. This is what I want you to mentally rehearse. What if your best self were to emerge in all you do? And as you do, you begin to notice you will attract into your life synchronicities, people, situations that relate to those goals. So now in a moment, you may open your eyelids again. And when you open your eyelids, you'll be awake, you'll be alert, you'll be feeling much, much better than before, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated and relaxed. You may now open your eyelids, be awake, be alert, feeling fantastic. Excellent. Good job. Getting better? Is it a little bit easier for you? Especially as you get used to my voice. And I hope your sound is good for you. So let's go to number 4. I know we're close on time. We may go a few minutes late. I hope you're okay. Please stay with me to the end. It's worth it. Intuition and creativity. And yes, it is a skill. And I would invite you now to move away from the guru model of personal development, of spiritual development. To understand, I enjoy emulating successful people. I enjoy reading biographies. I enjoy learning from people who really got their stuff together and modeling them. How would I do it? And when you do that, always ask, not compare. Oh, I could never do that. What would it be like if you could do that? Imagine your head on their body. That's called modeling. So you're using your creativity. Intuition and creativity come from the same place. I want you to transition to self-reliance, doing this. And it is a developmental skill. Most people in the early days of Silva, we called it ESP, same thing, intuition, are amazed, even intuitives, even known psychics. When they go through the Silva training, I can report in my own classes, they're amazed how everybody in the room is nailing it. Not 100% of the time, but a good many. We do as many as 12 exercises, and as many, more than a few, people nail it. People are 50%, 80% accurate, way, way, way above statistic of guess. It's got to be exercise. So how can you build trust? Because when you're in that flow state, when your intuition has been activated and it's integrated and it's just who you are, you will begin to experience what some call the golden touch, good luck, and you begin to attract the people, the places, the situations, what seems like a meaningful coincidence or a synchronicity that helps you to get where you want to go. Funny you should say that. I'm interested in that. Maybe we can help each other. And you'll have more and more of them when you're clear about your intention. And so it seems like the universe has got your back. So you need points of reference. So here's the exercise. Write this down and do practice this. What I want you to do is journal. Anytime you have an intuitive hit and you're on the money. Yes, I knew. Yes, I'm so glad I listened. Whoa. Or maybe you didn't listen, but you recognize it. Note, what was the feeling? Was it a thought? Was it a visual pattern? What were the circumstances? Journal it and also internalize it. Think it with your eyelids closed. Reflect on it. And when you screw up and you're way off and you're off the mark, note that and compare what's the difference that made the difference when you were accurate and correct. In the Silva method, we call it points of reference. And all throughout the class, we're developing those points of reference. It's our forte, really. It's my favorite part of the class. It's in the truest sense of the word an intuition training. We cover all the bases because, admittedly, it's a slippery slope. It can be very confusing. I just today, I guess it was a message DM no, it was actually on my YouTube channel. Someone asking about, can I use my intuition for gambling? So I found the one on gambling in my YouTube channel and sent it to him. Those of you who know my story, I was raised by gamblers. It's very tricky. Yes, it can be, is the short answer, but it's very tricky because there are distortions that confuse us. One of the distortions is a projection, wishful thinking. Yeah, I just know I'm going to win. Yeah, right, because we're wishfully thinking. And then there's fear. It's a projection. We're afraid of what may happen, and we don't have confidence, and that confuses us. So we've got to develop these points of reference. You need the right training. You need time and practice and exercising. And you've been through the silver class, come back first chance you get and review, practice. It really makes a huge difference. Every time anybody comes back to review, they tell me they got more out of it than the first time. And by the way, everybody, if you're new to silver, it's a one-time fee. You get what you pay for. You do the immersion, you save $300. I'm incentivizing it because that's the only way I will guarantee you that you'll be thrilled when you finish, when you do all 4 days. Not one day, not a half a day, not 3 days, but all 4 days from beginning to end. Because that I know works. I know exactly what works. I've worked hundreds of classes. I've traveled the world doing this for 48 years. I've, for better than 25 years, been training and developing an instructor team. So I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I'm a student. Like you. I am a master, though, at understanding this process and delivering it and helping you through whether it be my coaching, my mentoring, or in the class with that. So be careful. The more you practice. So when you come back, you pay a small C charge, period. Anyway, the language of your intuition is when you're on the money, it feels right. You feel elated. You feel joyful. You feel like a burden has been lifted from your shoulders. You feel good. That's usually an indicator that you're moving in the right direction. Why do I say usually? Because sometimes if you're in familiar territory, it feels good because you know what to expect and we feel comfortable with what to expect. It's why people always some people favor Marriott, some people favor Holiday Inn, some people favor Hilton's because they know what to expect no matter where they go anywhere in the world. And that helps us so that, we don't want to be surprised and we know we're going to get what we want and what we value. So, or you have an energy boost or you're experiencing synchronicities. Those are usually indicators that the universe has got your back. You're in that flow state. So it's a matter, again, of practicing. So let's do another quick exercise. Very important. I want to ground you. Again, take good notes and make sure you repeat this and build it out. Go longer. I'm just going to do a short one. Again, please allow your eyelids to close, those beautiful eyes. Allow a slow, deep breath. Allow another deep breath. That's it. Hold it briefly. Exhale out your mouth. And as you exhale, allow yourself to relax more deeply, tuning to the alpha state. Allow another slow, deep breath. That's it. Excellent. Exhaling out your mouth. How good it feels. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. It's a wonderful, healthy state of mind and body. Now, what I'd like you to do is to relive a success with your intuition. Remember a time in the not too distant past, soon back as you can, when you had a feeling, a thought, and you trusted it, and you were on the money. Or maybe you didn't listen, you didn't trust it, and then you later discovered you were on the money, but you didn't follow through. What was it? A feeling? A visual pattern? What were the circumstances? Study that, the feeling, the thought. And what you can also do is contrast that. Compare this to when you've been way off. You really thought you were having an intuition and you were way off. What's the difference that made the difference? The more you study this, the more you take this time, even a minute a day, or at least a few times a week, you truly get better and better. It'll become clearer and clearer. How good it feels. You will remember this. Now, in a moment, you'll open your eyelids again. You'll be awake. You'll be alert, feeling fantastic, feeling much better than before. You may now open your eyelids. Eyelids open, wide awake. Welcome back, you intuitive you. Wow. How was that? A little better? Good job, guys. Good job. I really love doing this for you. I love even more when you're in the class, you grace with your presence. So I want you right now, using your intuition, your creativity, imagine the possibilities. So couple of quick ones. One of the most common, funny, and fun applications is parking spaces. It's very common in silver circles to hear silver practitioners say, I use my three fingers, which is everyday type intuition. And every time I go, even to downtown, it's crowded, I find a space exactly where I need it to be. I go to the mall during the holidays, I get a space where it needed to be. It's just not an issue. It's the most common. How about traveling, picking an itinerary? And you may find yourself picking an itinerary that at first, when you look back logically, doesn't, gee, why did I do that? But then later you find it's good you did. Maybe there were delays or something that there's no way you'd know now ahead of time. Or maybe you had a feeling or a sense about calling someone out of the blue. And you called and said, Ken, I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. And here you are reaching out to them. Happens to me all the time. These are examples of you're in the zone, so to speak. What about your sales? If you're in sales or you're a coach client and you're making some cold calls, or you're calling customers, or you're calling existing customers or clients, you have a long list. You only have so many hours in the day. You can only get so much done today, right? And you're not realistically going to get to everybody if you're going to do a quality job. So how about you look at the list and you just kind of defocus your vision, a few slow deep breaths, and ask, who's the first priority? Who should I call? Who could best benefit from my attention today? Do this with your sales team. Do this with your customers. Do this with departments if you're running a business. Do this with your family. Who could best use my attention now? Who could use a call from me? Who could use a reach out? Can you imagine the possibilities? I've worked with quite a few realtors that come to the silver class, and these people, I didn't do it, they do it, but they become top producers by learning to trust their intuition and learning to let it guide them. Imagine the possibilities for you, and you can make better, wiser decisions in all you do. You're not going to be perfect. And I'm not going to kid you, it's not a quick fix. Again, I find it to be a big personal development lie. And marketing is what marketing is. They sensationalize. And I hope it changes, that we have a return to authenticity. And the truth of the matter is, it works. It really works. It's going to take some work. You're going to have to do the work. You do the work, you'll be thrilled. And when I say do the work, I mean, if you need to just chill out and relax and you get ready to, and you want to learn faster, there's an application take you 3 minutes to do that will help you to learn faster and easier, which will save you time. If you're feeling a little bit tense or apprehensive, there's a 3-minute application like we just did, the transition meditation alpha break, that will help you get through it more easily, which will help you to do a better job and save you time, ultimately even save you money. You get the idea? That's my job, is to teach you applications like this so that you can take the tools and apply them in a meaningful way. And yes, you do get better and better, with that. Again, imagine the possibilities. Imagine the possibilities. You guys are great. That, I look forward for more with you. So I just want to say a couple of quick things. There are a number of people who are new to Silva and then new graduates. So it's my shout out to you, Silva graduates. What's going to take for you to come back? You can go back for a day, you can go back for 2, but the ideal is go through all 4 days, the immersion. There are very few instructors on this planet who would do it 4 days in a row because it's very demanding. It's demanding on the students, but frankly, us Silva instructors, it's me, myself, and me for 10 hours a day, 4 days in a row, teaching, answering questions before class, during class, instructing, doing the guided meditations all throughout. You're practicing the meditations all throughout, so you leave usually feeling a lot better than when you came in. And I do it because it just there are a lot of ways to stretch it out, yes, and you can be flexible. Yes, it does work, like on weekends, stuff like that. I just find that if you really want the transformation, you want to make that shift. And a funny thing, not too long ago, neuroscience released a paper talking about 4 days of meditation, concentrate like that, produces the most dramatic, most profound effects. I read that and I said, yes, I didn't know that scientifically, but I knew it from my experience myself. It's how I went through. And I know it from experiencing with my students and just comparing and contrasting, with that. So just say a couple of quick things with that. You got a couple of opportunities. And just to clarify, if you were to just start with the first 2 days, we've segmented it to make it a little bit more available for people. And that's really the marketing people that were helping us. So the first 2 days are called Life System, but it's a 4-day program. Second 2 days are called Intuition System. And when you do it 4 days in a row, it's the immersion with it. And that's the best way to go. So you notice when you commit to the 4 days, you save over $300 with that. And it doesn't stop there. I want you to know, here we are 53 years later. Here I am in my 49th year. And I've seen so many people come and go and they're gone. I've seen so many make a fortune and they're gone. And here we are, the Silva Method. Yes, we're an old brand. Yes, we're the ones who started this field with our program. It's such an honor. We're the most copied, most modeled after process, particularly the proprietary process. But it doesn't stop there. And that coming back is a great way to protect your investment because it's like reading a book, peeling layers of an onion. You'll hear it differently because you're a different person. You're evolving it. You get more. However, I do coaching as a service. I provide lots of freebies. I do classes like this, these live casts. I send you recordings, videos, and order MP3s that you can listen to help you further develop the tools and to support. You get manuals, 2 manuals with over a couple hundred pages of material that you can review at home. So there's lots of support there. There's a community on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page. People comment, help each other. Sky's the limit with that. So coming up in August 8th through the 11th, that one's already starting to fill up. So if you're interested, you want to reserve, because I max out at 24. So you're not a face in the crowd. And to me, that's very important because everyone's a VIP. You don't have to pay me an extra $1,000 to sit up front. Everybody has a chance to ask not 1 or 2, but as many questions as need be. And I see everybody, and therefore I can do my job better because I'm watching to see how you're doing, and I can advise and coach you. So I'm kind of coaching you all through the class while also instructing you what to do. And I purposely picked small facilities so they're very little activity going on. They're typically quiet. It's just us. So make a weekend getaway, take a vacation, take a holiday, take a sick day, whatever it is to get there. I can assure you it'll be well worth it. The best vacation you'll ever take. You get more of it. And vacations are temporary fix. Taking this class as an investment that will last for your lifetime. All you have to do is occasionally give it a little water, a little bit of nurturing, a little bit of application, and you just build it and build it and build it with that. So I look forward, and visit Silva Method of Connecticut, silvamethodct.com. In Chicago area, Chicagoland, I'll be there October 11th or 8th. So remind the date, forgive me, but it's the middle of October. It's a holiday weekend, Thursday through Sunday. I typically go on those 2. And that one's also people are registering, but there's a few more seats there in that particular class. So I hope you make it. If you have any questions, I can be of help to you. I'll take a look at any comments you've made, or you can email me. I'm here for you. And thank you for allowing me this opportunity. You guys rock, and may the rest of your life be the best of your life. And keep in mind, I really want you, let's subscribe to this together. Do good. Make your contribution. Have lots of fun while you're doing good, and thrive. So guys, I want to say good night and God bless, and I will stop and say so long for now.